Hey guys, good evening, good afternoon, good day, wherever you are. Our topic for today will be unpacking the psychological impact of misinformation. Welcome to the Friendly Counselor live segment, and I am your host, Dr. Quita Weir Roberts. Joining me will be my program director from Liberia, Mr. David Washington, and we will be giving him a few minutes to join us. So grab your chairs, grab your popcorn. If you're driving home, turn on the radio, invite a friend, share this live, and let's dive into this very important conversation. So, what are we unpacking when we talk about unpacking the psychological impact of misinformation? We know that information as a whole on the internet is at the tip of your fingers. So the content that's created travels across the universe in little or no time. And the information source, reputation, as well as all of those personalities, big personalities we have on social media, it plays a big role in all of that. In fact, many research suggests that detecting false information is difficult. And so we want to talk about that tonight. When you are on social media and you are taking in all of this information, what does it do to you, especially information that is untrue? How does that affect you? Some people may say, oh, it doesn't affect me. I can watch a whole lot of, rubbish on social media and it doesn't mean anything to me. But do you guys remember COVID? You remember what happened during COVID when so many people were exposed to fake news, right? False information, and it was causing a whole lot of anxiety. It was causing stress all over the place. So the same is true for today when we are watching things on social media that's not true. It has an impact on your mental health. And that's what we really, really want to talk about. We want to talk about that because I think it's important that people know the more that you expose yourself to all of those things on social media, that overload, it affects you. So we can go ahead and dive in a little bit into the topic. Excuse me. So what does researchers say? Because I always like to back up what I know with research. So the researchers suggest that detecting false information is difficult when it comes to detecting new information with the false information. So we kind of tend to focus on understanding of the misinformation. So this is what we tend to do. Whenever we hear information, especially when it's fake, and we know there's a method in which the journalists or people who share those type of informations, we know there's a method in which they do it. They do it in a way where it is loud, it is dramatic, it attracts attention. So more than likely you will be drawn to it. So it makes it very difficult. And whatever your brain register, especially negative information, is so difficult to alter it, to change it. So evaluating it for what is right. Is this true? What is accurate? What is fake news versus the reality of what's happening? Many people, once they hear something, they're already stuck on it. This is why it is so difficult when people spread rumors about you and spread negative, narratives about you. What people hear and cling to, it's almost impossible for you to convince them. You might as well forget about convincing them because their mind is already stuck on that. And that's what they have chosen to believe. So people are more likely to believe the misinformation when it comes to in groups. So where you have in a group setting, okay, we who have all these social media groups, we're part of all of these social media clubs. Um, it is so difficult when we hear lies about other people. We cling on to that. All it takes is for one person to say, "Oh, did you hear what they said about such and such?" And we hook on to that. And to change the message from the negative to the positive is almost impossible. So the content that we create on social media plays a role. We see, especially with bloggers, they love to create negative content, and everybody wants to pay attention to the negative content that is on social media. That's what we want to listen to. We don't care about anything that is interactive or that we can learn from. We are focusing on that negative social media content, and it's almost impossible. So to forget, and we want to come back and say which one here is true and which is not. Because again, when we are feeding those negative information to our brain, it's impossible after all is said and done to come back now and to change your image of this person. Okay? So people are likely to believe false statements. You can be the best person, most honest person, and all it takes is for one or two people to come and present some false statements about you. That is your character they have assassinated. And it's almost impossible to change that from what they are saying. People don't care whether or not you were good to them once in a, in a lifetime, but this one or two negative things they've heard about you, that's what they rather run with, and that's what they will keep to. So misinformation is extremely detrimental to a person's character. It is extremely detrimental. And I'm saying this for all of us on social media that think we are creating content. We are creating content by feeding misinformation. And I will talk about the difference between misinformation and disinformation. Misinformation is false information thrown out there that's not true with an intent to gain audience. Okay. And then there is disinformation. It's the same false information sent out there, but with this one, the intent is to deceive. And we see this a lot with our bloggers. They will put things that is so untrue. They will put stories that is so untrue, and people will latch onto it. People will draw to those lies, and they will feed into those lies, those negative stories, and they are sharing it on their pages, they're sharing it with people inboxes, knowing very well that the information that is being disseminated is not true, but we will latch onto it. So we are more likely as humans to believe negative repeated information. So again, I'm reading this from a research, right? So the findings here is saying that it is almost impossible to stop this. But how do we stop this? Because we know this information is difficult. We can say that many of the time we want to see good information, but it is very confusing when I have been shown negative information and now I'm trying to figure out, is this true? So for example, bloggers that share fake news, right? We see this in the United States a lot, where right now, especially with everything that is happening, we don't know what is factual from fiction. And the same is true for those that are in Liberia. Every single day, there are thousands of things that have been shown on social media. You don't know what's true, but you watch that and it causes a lot of stress and it causes a lot of anxiety, and you are worried about they're going to fight in Liberia, or we are worried about they're going to fight in the United States. Gas prices are going up high. We don't have food to eat. And again, we saw this during COVID, where everything on the news we say was fake news, most of it, right? So a lot of the time, people put things out there to get content. And why is this important? Because there are many people that are struggling with anxiety and stress from misinformation. So it is important for us to discuss this today in this context. So, mind over misinformation, making sure and understanding that there is a way that your brain processes these things. And our brain are like sponges. We absorb, we soak things in, and so it's almost impossible for you to now, after you have soaked all of that in, it's almost impossible for you to kind of sit to say, well, was that true or was that fake? You are believing what you were told first. So exposing yourself to misleading information is detrimental. Throughout the day, your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, TikTok account is packed, YouTube, with information. And you are looking at all of those things. Where do you think it's been stored? In your brain. A whole lot of information is been stored in your brain, and you pack yourself with all of these things and all of these false memories that you pack yourself with. So looking at many studies out there that is showing the dangers of all of this misinformation. So David, I'm waiting for you to come on. Are you on? Because this conversation is one that has to be talked about, and I know you have a lot of light to share on it, especially from the standpoint of Liberia, and I really want us to talk about it. So what do you trust online when you read? Can you trust anything online? I want you to just understand that not everything you read online, even on Google, many times people take Google to be the law and gospel, but remember that people put all of that stuff on the wide web, and a lot of it has not really been proven to be factual. So it's the same thing with what's going on social media. Those of you that spend all day on Facebook, you are using your data to get information. Understand that whatever that you have put into your mind is almost impossible to correct. It's difficult, and it tells you a lot about the harmful effects of it. So the second part of all of this is, how do we really correct it? How, if I have been exposed to this, how do I correct it? And there is something called information overload. Information overload is when we packed our brain, and it's a serious phenomenon right now that is going on. Just as much as we can expose ourselves to a lot of information online that is not true, it's the same for all day scanning through information, checking your text messages, checking your emails, checking your YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Your brain needs a break. All of that information overload makes you feel overwhelmed. It causes some internal stress. And many times you find that you are overwhelmed, you are anxious, you're angry, and you don't know why. It's traced to, at times, I'm not saying always, just the overload that you are exposing your brain to. There is something called belief echoes that is most important. Psychology talks about this. It's where you understand that the beliefs is almost impossible to kind of correct those. So the echoes, we know what echo is. It's just all over the place. Okay. So what do we do as far as this misinformation that we are getting? Understand that we have heard this so many times. Your mind is a sponge, and you have to understand whatever you've been fed to your mind, it can affect you positively or negatively. Case in point, the situation that's happening right now in Iran, or even in Liberia. We see how people respond when they hear negative information. You can be in a good state of mind, and the minute you hear, oh, they're fighting, everybody starts to run. They are running for safety, right? Why is that? Because somewhere in that there's some misinformation there that they have clung onto. So even though they're not sure that they're fighting, but the fact that they hear they're fighting and they don't hurt what they
So even though they're not sure that they're fighting, but the fact that they hear they're
can you
fighting,
mute your if you have a phone in the background, that's the echo I'm getting.
but the fact that they hear they're
Can you
fighting,
mute your if you have a
your
phone
phone
in
in
the
the
background,
background,
that's
that's
the
the
echo
echo
I'm
I'm
getting.
getting.
So we have a lot of platforms that does not do fact checking. Facebook is one of them. Right now, you can put whatever on Facebook, it will go, it will hold. So prior to that, there were some laws against certain things that you can post on social media, but now you can go on social media and you're exposed to so many things that's not true. So welcome, David. I'm glad you were able to make it. And yeah, let's have a conversation and let's hear your contributions. I've been talking a little bit into this topic, but I know you have a lot to add. If you're just joining us, welcome. The conversation is unpacking the psychological effects and impact of misinformation. Are you able to hear us, David? Yeah, forgive us.
Can you
David
hear
is
me?
coming in from Liberia. There we go. I hear there's some little technical issues there.
Yeah. Can you hear me
Okay, there we
now?
go. Perfect. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I thank you, Dr. Rabos. Thank you for this unique show. This topic is a unique topic, especially in Liberia. It's something that need to be discussed all of the time when it comes to information dissemination, especially when it comes to giving information to people or whatsoever information that will spread around. So thank you very much for this unique topic.
Most definitely. Thank you. So let's dive in. What are you bringing to it? Let me hear your take on this.
Yeah, so when it comes to information dissemination in Liberia here, especially misinformation, it have a serious psychological issue. It have a serious psychological impact when it comes to human being, especially here in Liberia. The way people give information, is sometimes cause a serious psychological issue. It causes a serious
Mm-hmm.
mental health problem because the way people give information, I some people they confide in people, right? Like for example, you have
Mm-hmm.
your older brother, you have your big brother that you confide in, and then based on the respect that you get for him or that you get for her, give you information, and then since you confide in a particular person, and then you will believe the information right away. You will believe
Mm-hmm.
the information right away. Or believing information, getting an information is another thing, and then believing it should also be based on fact finding.
Mm-hmm.
You got to, yeah. If you get information, you got to do your own research about the information. I agree. You have to, uh, respect the person that gave you the information. Maybe based on the person's academic credential, or maybe their age, or their social class, or whatsoever. Yes, there are information you can consider it, but taking it
Mm-hmm.
into consideration, you should also do your fact finding. You should do
Mm-hmm.
a background check. Yeah, the truth within that information, because it is uh, uh, consuming information or getting information. and you believe
Mhm.
in it, it have a serious impact on we the individuals,
Mhm.
because the way we receive the information, that is how we will react to it. That is how our mind will tell us, the truth within that information or the reaction. Because every information that you receive, it has
Mhm.
a own way of reacting, the way you react to it, and it also has to do with our mind, our thinking. So anything that you considering, uh you should also consider your well-being. So in
Mhm.
considering your well-being, you got to do your fact finding. You got to do your fact finding. If the information it is
We lost David for a minute there. So we're talking about fact finding, making sure that you're doing some fact finding. So you have to do your research, of course. Not everything that we hear online. And David made a very important point, which I really like, and that is sometimes we believe people based on their credentials, based on their status, based on who they are in society. And so we think that the information coming from them is credible. But remember, what we need to understand is that what is the reason why they're sharing that information? There are some people that are just sharing that information and it's misinformation to deceive other people. So they are not necessarily sharing it because they want you to know what's happening or to learn something or it's the truth. Somebody may have a problem against you and they may create this entire narrative, this entire story. They may have a problem against a particular political leader or maybe a leader, and they create this entire story that's all untrue. And they share it, and you hear it now, not checking it, you see it. The first thing you say, oh, but how the person can do this? Or, I can't believe I heard this. So checking to make sure that this is right. Always check more than one source. And if it is somebody that you were told certain things from about, call the person up. Hey, I heard this about you. Is it true? What's going on about this? So continue, David.
Yeah, thank you. So and as I was saying, misinformation it works by hacking your brain, right? It works by hacking your brain. It got to do with your brain. It got to do with your thinking. Any information that you get, any information that you receive, it depends on how you perceive it. It depends how you consider it, how you take that information to be. So you should not always depend on the person that gives you the information, maybe
Hmm.
based on their social status, or maybe the person is a teacher or respected person in the community or whatsoever place you find yourself, and then you got that information. It is always necessary to do your fact finding. It is
Hmm.
always necessary, even on social media. You should
Especially
we
on
should know.
especially on social media.
Yeah, especially on social
Hmm.
media. On social media, we should know where we are getting information from. Which platform is the platform is credible, or it is or it is just a page or blockers. We got to know where to get this information from, whether it
And
is
David,
factual.
you mentioned something. The sad truth is that even sometimes it's a credible news blogger, influencer, but they have certain information they are sharing to deceive the public. Okay. So that's why we
Yeah,
must check. So this whole idea of, oh, because it come from this person, I respect this person and I know it's true. It's not always true. There are
yeah,
some people that are very credible and their integrity matters a lot to them. So these people are not going to give you misinformation. They will bring you the fact. And you find that, sometimes we like the drama. And in order to give you the drama, it means we got to create a story. And sometimes creating the story comes with lies, right? So if
Yeah.
you want to get a audience and you want people to follow you, you make up lies, you make up stories, and the intent is to deceive people. Go ahead, David.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So, as I was talking about the social media is one of the place where people get a lot of information from.
Hmm.
There are a lot of informations we get on social media. So we also got to do a fact finding about the media. Is the media credible? And sometimes the information that they will get, there will be a little bit truth in it. But some social media pages, they exaggerate.
Hmm.
They exaggerate information just to, and psychologically, the human mind could be attracted to fake news, right? It could be
Hmm.
yeah, we as a human. So you will see a lot of people where when they're giving information, even when there is a little truth within that information, but they will try to exaggerate. So you as a human, or we as a human, we always got to do a fact finding to know if the information it is truth or it is credible, because it have to do with or the way we feel. It have to do with our mind. Any information that we get, that is how we would think. That is how we will analyze it, and that is how we behave. Some information that or we can get, it even have the ability to 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 scare people away from us.
Hmm.
And yeah, and then you even have the ability that will be afraid to go to some places. Will be afraid, yeah, based on the information that you receive on that particular page or on that particular social media platform. You will be afraid to even go to some places. So
So, David,
information,
let me ask you this: why do you
okay.
think that people exaggerate a lot of information, especially when it comes to social media? We see that a lot of the time the newscasters they will exaggerate a story, and people tend to believe it. Why do you feel that is?
Uh, the number one thing is social media bloggers or content creators or whosoever controlling social media pages. They know they are number one in they need more followers.
Hmm.
They need more followers. And the second thing is, or we as a human, some negative news, we follow negative news most often.
Hmm.
So yeah, so they will do that to play on the human mind, because they want to attract people to their page.
Hmm.
They want to attract people to their page. So you always see people doing that. They will always exaggerate, because they need more attention. They need more followers.
So,
So
so
we
for example, that old lady or that middle-aged woman or man who's not in Morovia, but they're somewhere on the farm in Babalu, and they hear something online. They see something on social media, or maybe they didn't even see it because a lot of them sometimes can give their phone to their kids. And
yeah.
they see on news that's not true, and the children go online and they read it and they say, "Oh, mama, I saw this and I saw that." Oh, what and how do you think the brain reacts to that? How does the brain respond to that?
First of all, when you get that kind of information, it depends on the kind of information that you got. The first
Mhm.
thing, it depends on the kind of information that you get. The information that you get, and the the quality of that information, it can react different ways. Our brains work different way. So it depends
Mhm.
the kind of information that you got. But definitely there are some information that can that can cause a serious or mental health issue, that it can even make you to lose focus. It can even
Mhm.
make you to lose focus that maybe you are working or something that you are doing, but based on that particular information that you receive, the fear will start to come in you.
Mhm.
You start getting that strong anxiety,
Mhm. Mhm.
that emotion, that fear.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
definitely,
So
I want us to talk about that a little bit. I want us to talk about
mhm,
what happens to the brain, what happens to the body, and you said it, like the fear, the anxiety, the depression, the sadness. You know, misinformation can be as simple as people taking pictures, putting it online with somebody uh, that they think is the love of their life, but behind closed door, we know it's not true. So when you go now and you see that and you in a situation, a bad relationship, now you start to feel sad because,
yeah.
oh, these people happy and I'm not happy, and I don't have, and any good life, I'm suffering. So that misinformation causes stress with even in your mind. Okay, and
Hmm.
that's what we talk about when we say what happens in the body, what happens in the brain, what happens in the body. If you view something online that is not true, whether it is a story that maybe you perceive as true, you come back around, you fact check, and you found that it's not true, you still in your mind have that image. This is what makes it so dangerous. We saw during COVID that they were saying all these people dying if you just shake people's hands, you just do this and you just do that. Some people heard it and it stuck with them in their mind. And to change anything else was almost impossible. So I want to talk about when we misuse that information. Can you hear me, David? I think we lost David. So we lost David. He's going to come on. He's having some network issues. Uh, And I just kind of want us to go along the line of the conversation we're having here. There we go. There goes David. Mm, okay, he's coming back on. Okay. So, how do we spot misinformation? We spot misinformation. David, I have you on twice. Can you hear me? Are you on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay, there you go. So, how do we spot misinformation? Is we want to check credentials. Okay, is this content creator, what experience they even got in creating content? Guys, that's important because there are people over there just saying things. Social media is at everybody's fingertip. Everybody has a smartphone, a computer, a laptop, and they can get on YouTube, they can get on Facebook, they can get on Instagram, they can create a content, they can edit it and make it look and sound professional. There are people online giving you diagnosis about medical conditions. They are posting to be therapists. They're advising you on how to live your life and do all of these things, and you're following them. Some of them make sense, some does not make sense. Are they licensed? If somebody is here posting to be a therapist, a clinical therapist giving you content on relationships and all of these things, are they a licensed therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist? What background do they have to be giving me all of this information? So we should avoid quick fix. Be skeptical of these overnight solutions that you see online. Okay? You got to be
Yeah.
skeptical of these things. Don't believe everything you're reading. And remember, it is not one size fit all. Because it happened for them doesn't mean it will happen for me. But be open minded.
Yeah.
Be open minded. and always look at the reality of what is going on. Because somebody took the bus and they got stuck, or the bus broke down on them, it doesn't mean that I'm going to take the bus and the bus is going to break down on me. It's not a one size fit all. So they come on social media and they exaggerate the storyline to give you content. And that content sounds colorful, it sounds dramatic, because remember now, how do we get people attention online? We got to act loud. We got to put drama. Some people will cuss because for some reason our people in Liberia, that's what they like. They don't like people that come on and that will be saying things that will sound educational. No, they don't like that. That's too boring. Oh, that was more boring. All that you're talking about, thing and that, I don't want you in here except. But if I was coming on here and talking about my relationship or other people's relationship and cussing and fighting, you will have over 500, 5,000 views.
Yeah.
Go ahead, David. I'll let you add on.
Yeah. So when it comes to information in Liberia, is deeply social, right? You usually people or trust who tell them or who give them the information more than what is told, right? They always, yeah, people always doing that. So as I usually stated, if a respected or community leader or a big brother, right, share or maybe a voice note on WhatsApp or on Messenger, when they share it with you, the psychological weight of that particular person, of that particular big brother or that community leader, and the psychological weight of that particular person, it is override the lack of evidence for that information. So people mostly people believe in the individual that gave them the information than the information itself. That what happened in Liberia here.
Hmm.
That what I
Hmm.
observe. Yeah, they believe in the person more than the information itself. Okay, we agree. People got to get information to one another. But yeah, yeah, and then we also have to believe some community leaders or some your friend, some older people, and you got to believe them or you got to get respect for them. But the information that they are giving you, it depends on how you use it. It depends on how you use it, because when somebody give you information, the way it will react, or the way that information will react in your mind, the way it will play on your mind will be different from other people. So it is you that getting that information, it is you that handling that information. So before anything trigger your mind or your brain or your emotional feelings, you got to get the evidence. You got to get the evidence.
David, somebody has said to me a long time ago that, uh, and she was talking in the context of men. And she said to me, sweetheart, they got young fools, they got old fools, they got
Yeah,
middle aged fools. So, yes, we want to give people the respect. It's
yeah,
true. Especially our elders want to be respectful to them. But understand that there are some of our elders that will put out information online to deceive you.
yeah.
So, fact check, right? And I
Hmm.
I want us to move more towards the psychological piece of all of this. I think we kind of talked a lot about what this is, but I want us to talk about the mental health piece of it. Uh,
Yeah,
for example, if you see a car crash, and I'm telling you, this happens all the time in Liberia. There's an accident, and somebody take pictures, and they put the pictures online, and there's a body of a person deformed laying there, servant leg, servant hand, or the head is cut off, and blood all over them. And people are commenting on those pictures. People are taking it and they're spreading it on social media. What do you think is going to happen to your brain when you view such a picture, what do you think is going to happen to your mind? When we talk about overload of the type of information that we see online, sometimes we must be careful because again, it's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the times people alter those pictures and it's
Mm-hmm.
misleading. Okay,
Yeah.
so when you see that video, it causes something in your body. If you
Mm-hmm.
have, you know, empathy, let's say that, if you have empathy, because some people can see it and don't feel anything, but if you have empathy deep within your soul, you feel sad. You feel sad, you feel worried, you feel, depressed about the situation. So when you witness those type of things, it causes something in your body. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the anxiety. Sometimes people, they see misinformation about uh so-called, are you there? Okay. They see that, this side, there's a whole lot of so-called there. Oh, I'm not going there. People are
Yeah.
afraid. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going there. Or even you hear stories like, for the last few weeks, they've been snatching people bags. They've been stealing people's cell phones from the ear downtown, down Waterside Market. Oh, I'm not going over there. I'm not going there. And so, how many people won't go there? So, what's going to happen when you see people stop going there? So, this is a big issue because it causes a reaction within our body. And we can have
Mm-hmm.
so many different examples of how does your body respond to misinformation? How does your brain respond to misinformation? Any examples, David?
Yeah. So misinformation too, it cause high level of stress.
Mm-hmm.
It cause high level of stress and a sense of hopelessness. As you stated, even misinformation can turn neighbors against one another.
Mm-hmm.
It causes fight. Misinformation causes fight. It causes for nothing hatred among people.
Mm-hmm.
Misinformation, it causes
Yep.
confusion. Yeah, mental exhaustion. All these things, you just be thinking, your fear. If if you even walking on the road, if even if you go in the market or working somewhere, because of the information that you receive about a particular area or about that surrounding, you feel unsafe.
Right.
You feel unsafe only because you didn't do the fact finding of that particular information that you considering it is truth. So it is always important because the misinformation have a serious psychological impact.
Mm-hmm.
It causes,
Mm-hmm.
it have a serious psychological impact. So that
And
uh
and David, especially to specific populations, right?
mhm,
And what we call vulnerable populations, like the elderly. Most of the time, we find that older people, younger children, those are the vulnerable population that it affects mentally from the most when it comes to misinformation. So
yeah,
we have to be careful when you have an older person around you. Understand that those that are on Facebook, when they see fake, what we call false news, fake news, they may be more susceptible to believe in it. Okay, and
yeah,
they don't mostly spot it to say, oh, that fake news, or oh, it's not true. you know Many times older individuals, they embrace that misinformation, and it kind of dissimulate to them as the truth.
yeah,
So it's important that we teach them about social media literacy. Let them know that, hey, there's a lot of things I know I had to do with my mom, I still have to do with my mom, because you have these scammers that will put misinformation online. And the minute you partake of it, guess what? They're scamming you. Somebody will put something online and they will say something like, "Oh, my family was murdered or my family was killed. I'm only here alone. And if you want to help me, please click." And who will feel sorry for them? The older people. So what they do, they click on it, and before you know it, they got all your information, or they're talking to you, making up this fake story, and you start feeling sorry for them. You start sending them money. So they're vulnerable populations that we must teach and educate about the literacy of misinformation online.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then misinformation online to like you make mention of the older people. So I got one of this old person who always when he hear about information, he confide in me so that he can say, "Oh, Washington, that you're going to school.
Mhm.
I got so and so information. I want to know if it is true." So you see, people will always come to you for information
Mhm.
based on
Mhm.
how you present yourself in public or how you present yourself. They will come to you for
Mhm.
information, right? And then they want to
Mhm.
get the truth from you.
Right.
They want to get it. Yeah, they want to get the truth from you. So it is always important that you, the older person going out, or that friend going out, or that family member
Mhm.
going to ask, once you have no idea on a particular information, I think it is right for you to
Mhm.
tell the person that no, I haven't yet come across that information, but where you
Mhm.
got the information from. When they show when they give a reference to that information or where they got the information from, then you can tell them, okay, just give me a break, or I will get back to you, or I will get to know if the information is truth.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So people will always confide in people when it comes to certain things. So you the confide in you gotta know your position. Oh, but why the old man is always coming to me for information or to get a facts, even though he
So
listened to it on yeah, even though he listened or to it on radio, or he listened to it, but he coming to me. So you now you gotta put yourself in that position that, oh, I think I'm somebody that he confide in. So you
you are
always
credible, right? Yeah.
yeah,
And
you are
that's
credit. hmm you are
that's what
credit.
we talk about, finding people that are credible. So they come to you absolutely because they find that you are credible. So
Yeah,
we have less than about what 10 minutes. So I want us to kind of bring it home, right?
yeah.
So I want us to talk about, so what do we do? How do we cope if we have been exposed to internet overload or misinformation? What are some strategies that we can use? How do we cope with all of this? And the first strategy I want to talk about is limiting your social media exposure. Of course,
hmm
be selective. Be
yeah.
selective rather than drowning yourself in every bit of news and social media and chatter that's out there.
Yeah.
Be selective in choosing reliable sources, right? Follow people. I unfollow a whole lot of people on my page. Whenever I see misinformation and I pay attention to them, I focus on what they're saying. And the minute I feel like they are sending out misinformation or disinformation, I unfollow them. So it's okay, unfollow them. They may be funny, they may be whatever, but whatever they're saying, if it is detrimental to your mental health, unfollow them. So be selective. Be very selective what you expose yourself to. And then, of course, we talked about this. Pause and fact check before you share anything on social media. You can make sure that it's true from somebody else, make sure that it is accurate from another news source that is reliable. You have to, because remember now, whatever you're sharing out there, your name is out there.
hmm
I'm very careful what I share, because sometimes you share things and People come and tell you, oh, that's not true, or this is not the true story, and then you come back, you're like, oh, I'm sorry, or you change the story. So we got
Yeah.
to be careful what we're sharing. If you just see something that looks like a hot topic, and because you feel it's a hot topic, you want to run and share it, and you are not supposed to be because you don't know it's true, don't share it. Some
Yeah.
strategies, David. Some other strategies. Do you have any other strategies you may want to add?
So some of the strategies, some some of the strategies is moving from from fake news, right, to
Mhm.
fast checking, as you stated. Then we get tracing the source. You always got to trace the source of that information.
Mhm.
Yeah, you always got to trace the source of the information. Don't uh don't be fast to share. Don't be fast to share, because let us realize that sharing a lie can cause a real or serious harm. So we should always do a fact checking, and we shouldn't be fast to share information. Before you share
Mhm.
information, meaning you have done your research, and then you know it is credible. And sometimes if you sharing information, it is good that you give the source.
Mhm.
It is good that you give the source, because the person that you're sharing this information with, the person uh, 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 might get the clarity of that particular source, that particular source always sharing or lies. So if you give the source, it will even help. It will help the person.
Mhm.
Yeah, it will help the person. And then we also have remote tracking. Remote tracking. You got to we just got to be careful how we believe in or information, or who to confide in, who giving your information, who is the person, who is the therapist that you want, or social media, or that is giving or therapeutic advice, like giving counseling, or counseling advice, like giving
Mhm.
relationship advice. Who is that person?
Mhm. And
We got to
David,
know.
just to add to, watch out for emotional manipulators. Like I
Hmm.
noted earlier, misinformation on social media, they play on your emotions. That's how
Hmm.
they get content. They make they will make it extremely dramatic. They are actors. A lot of these people are actors. So if you find out that this content is making me angry, is making me scared, overjoyed, then that's a flag for you to examine it critically,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Because a
Yeah.
lot of the time, scammers and false new content, they will create emotional headlines. Something like, you don't want to, miss this opportunity, or, this is such an outrage. Okay, you won't believe this outrage. So when you hear that, your brain short circuits start to reason. Is it truly an outrage? Are people dying? Millions of people die from a car crash yesterday, or thousands of people die. They do that specifically to evoke an emotion in you. And most of the time it's manipulative. So
Yeah.
always pay attention, instead of reacting, like we call that cross knee jerk reaction. Stop, take a deep breath, okay? Take a step back, fact check.
Yeah.
Is this true? Calm down first. If you calm yourself down, more than likely you will be able to respond versus react. When we react, our emotions got the best of us. But if I calm down and I say, wait a minute, how true is this? Let me check another source. Then I will think about it and process it, and then my reaction to it will be different. So, diversify your information diet, right? Don't just
Hmm.
follow one content creator. Get different, diverse perspectives. Find people that are trustworthy. Find people that, are funny. Find people that are educational. Let's diversify what we watch, okay? Because
Yeah.
sometimes we are stuck to one thing. and we watch that one content creator and we know they're negative and we know it puts your blood pressure up, but oh, she funny, oh, she like it, I like that stuff. It eats in you, your mental health. It has impact on your mental health, and we talk about that. It eats
Yeah.
away in you. So pay attention. Try to find a more diverse type of information. Give yourself a good balance. Chances are it will help you balance because you have choices. You have different outlet, which can kind of take away some of that misinformation that you get online. You got different anchor, different perspective on a issue. So your goal really is to broaden your knowledge. So
Hmm.
there's one issue. If I had three different people talking about the news in Liberia and Guinea, and I see that this one blogger or influencer or journalist, is giving me a extroverted uh, sense of what's happening, well, I don't need to listen to them. Maybe this
Yeah.
person, is giving me half of the truth. I can see that a lot of what they're saying is true. Some of the things that they have made way more larger than it is, okay, I can still listen to it. And then there is somebody who's giving me the truth. And I believe them, they're credible because I have fact checked this person. This is my person to go to for credible news. So improve your digital media as far as online, educate yourself about it. These are some of the ways that we can help educate people to know not everything on social media is factual. Understand that people have cell phones now, they have laptops now. Everybody can go online and create a live. People don't even have to be experts in subject matters, but they are telling you uh save your marriage. They have no experience in marital counseling. They are telling you how to
Yeah.
raise your children. They have no experience, and sometimes you listen to some of those things and you have to wonder, you're going to try some of the things they're telling you to do, and not everything they're telling you to do is proven to work. So we just have
Yeah.
to be careful.
Yeah. And maybe somebody will ask, what are some of the ways that I can do to prevent myself from sharing fake information? Is any information that you feel that it is misleading,
Mhm.
that cause high level of stress for you, that cause high level of anxiety. That information, just know that the same feeling that you got from that information, if you share that information or on your social media page or you forward it to anybody, just calculate that that is the same feeling the person will have. So the
Mhm.
best way is not to share that particular information.
Mhm.
That is one of the best way to prevent it. Don't share that particular information, because the same feeling that it will give you, it will give it just think that way, that the
Very
person
cool
that you share,
point.
yeah, the information with, that person will feel the same. So the next one is stop following page or social media page or platform. Stop following news that always irritate you.
Mhm.
For a good mental health balance, stop following news that give you a high level of stress. Unfollow
Mhm.
that person. So that these are some of the way to save yourself from or spreading fake information or any misleading information.
Yes. So again, we know that there are a whole lot of fake information online, and there's a lot of future things in technology that plays a lot of role in all of this, like AI. AI can create anything that makes it look real. So they can create me standing somewhere that I'm not even there. You know what I mean? And it's fake.
Yeah,
And people who don't know that, okay, there's AI, doing these things. I remember my mom sending pictures to me of people, oh, they say the woman died, the man died. And I'm like, Mom, that's AI. So sometimes we don't understand that some of these images we see online is AI generated. People will
Yeah.
go miles to create things, okay? So
Mm.
right now, again, I talked about there are really no regulation when it comes to all of this stuff. So educating yourself, paying attention to what is out there, that awareness can help us stop this. We can get ideas, we can debunk fake news, news that is not true. And misinformation, again, it might mediate into channels that are really harder for us to monitor. So if there is anybody out there that's listening today and that may want to find a way to manage all of this misinformation, we have shared a lot with you today. I would say to you, the internet is vast and there's so much on the internet today. If you were to turn the TV on right now, you will be drawn to something that probably will cause you some stress. Remember, you are in control of your cell phones, you're in control of your computer, your remotes. You have the power to turn it off.
Yeah.
You do not have to allow all of those misinformation and de-information to interfere with your life. I hope that these strategies that we have shared with you today, maybe somebody may benefit from it, or you can share it with your family and friends. Grab a pencil, paper, jot down some things. If you missed the live, go back and rewatch the live. I'm pretty sure there will be a few things that will be beneficial to you because I know I have benefited from these myself. And so, David, your final words.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ramos, for this unique talking point when it comes to misinformation in our society. And I want to say thanks to all of the listeners who have been following us. We want to say you should be uh, your own caregiver of your mind. It should be your own engine of how you collect information, because information that you collect, uh, that is how it will play a major part or major role in the society. Any information that you spread, just know it will have impact on somebody. It could be good, it could be bad. So I suggest that you always want to be on the safe side. You always want to be a person that will provide unique information, and it will also be good for your mental health. We got to protect our mind. We got to protect our emotions to know how to navigate the society, and everything it goes with information that we receive, how we learn things on social media, and how we react to it. So thank you so much, and be your own mind controller.
Thank you, David. It's always a pleasure having you. And lastly, I want to do a promo for my book. I wrote a book and it is packed with wealth of information about
Yeah.
domestic abuse. If you
Hmm.
have suffered domestic abuse, if you grew up in a house where you saw your mom get beat, your dad get beat, or you yourself were beaten as a child, or this one specific is for survivors. And this particular book is giving you hope on how do I live after abuse. So, copy, take a picture, and grab a copy. It is on Amazon. You can Google it. Name of the book is Whispers Beneath the Silence: Honoring Survivors' Strength, Healing, and Hope. So I encourage you, get a copy. If you didn't, if you are a male that want to give a friend or a family member, your daughter, how to prevent these things from happening in the future, this is a great book to give. It's an easy read because domestic violence is such a heavy topic. And so I purposely did not overpack this book. So it's an easy read, and there are some pages in there where you get to do some inner work. And I thought that it was very important. If you know anything about therapy, a lot of what we do is the inner work. So, as a therapist, I will write a book, and you will always find pages in all of my books to do some inner work. Because at the end of the book, I want you to come off on your journey of healing or heal. So, this is the purpose of this book. So, I invite you to invite your friends to get a copy of my book. And as always, thank you for joining the Friendly Counselor. We appreciate you being a part of this family, and we hope to see you again. Stay safe and God bless.